All I know about Ernie is that he's a very friendly guy, and he looks like he likes working with the students. That's it.
I like the way that he helps us out in the office because anytime we ask him to do anything, he does it with a smile on his face.
Ernie is, I believe, the school custodian, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've seen him driving his car around school.
I don't know much about him. I just see him around school, say hi to him. He's really friendly. It's always like, how are you? How are you doing? Like, you know.
I got to know Ernie because I was doing after school beautification with him. He's cool. He's one of the janitorial staff, and ever since then, like, I'll see him across campus and be like, oh, hey, Shayna, and he'll like ask how my day is and how I'm doing and how was my weekend and stuff like that. So he's cool and nice.
He would talk to me sometimes. I would talk to him. You know, he'd ask about my day. I'd sometimes catch him. Sometimes mid school, sometimes after school. And I guess I never really got to know him much as a person, and I wish I did. He seems like an interesting person.
He seems like he's really into his job. Like, it's not like he's just one of those people who just does his job. Like, it looks like he likes to do it. He's always like all happy and stuff. Like, I never really seen him mad or anything like that. He's in his job. He likes it.
I don't really know who Ernie is. I've seen him around cleaning up and stuff, but I don't know him.
The scariest thing I've ever done is when I was about 10 years old. We lived in Golden Hills, and we lived in a 2-story house. And I had a little G.I. Joe man, and I would take a handkerchief and I would tie 4 corners to the G.I. Joe man with string, and I'd throw him out the window, and he would sail down to the ground. And I thought that was the greatest thing. So in my 10-year-old brain, it made sense to me that if I had grabbed a bed sheet and grabbed 4 corners and jumped off of the roof, that it would work, and I would sail down just like G.I. Joe did. This didn't happen. I didn't get hurt, and knock on wood, I don't have any around. But I did jump. I had the sheet, and I don't think I was slowed down at all. I kind of landed on the grass, and I rolled with it, so I wasn't hurt. But I think looking back, and I wasn't scared at the time because in my 10-year-old brain, it was going to work perfectly. Looking back, I think that's probably one of the most scariest things that I've ever done that really put my health in jeopardy and my well-being. So I'm lucky I didn't break anything or get hurt in any way. So I think that's probably one of the scariest things I've ever done.
Oh my God.
My name is Ernest Fierstad. It's spelled F-J-E-R-S-T-A-D. And my middle name is Floyd. I was born in Summertown, Tennessee. It was actually, there's a hippie commune. It's in Tennessee. And I was born there in 1973, and we moved to California in '81. But it was a very unique childhood, I would say.
In some ways, it was really a wonderful way to live together and to live with like-minded people and to be with really idealistic people who believed in making positive changes in the world. And I thought it was really, really a wonderful way to raise children.
It was very, very friendly atmosphere because we all lived, like we said, lived in houses where there'd be 3-4 families in a house, and we had to get along, and we did, and the children all played together, and we always would have things for them to do so that they could stay busy.
I'm not very susceptible to boredom, I think. I don't let myself get bored, even as a kid. Again, I can always find something to do, or like be pretty much at ease with my own company. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, this is boring, this is stupid. It's like, make it fun, enjoy it, do something. I don't know. Like, instead of just saying how bad it is. I've been working at SCPA for just short of 19 years. In February 17th, it'll be 19 years that I've been working at SCPA since February 17th, 1998. I like the people. I like the being indoors and outdoors. I get to not be cooped up indoors all day. It gives me activity, and that like I mentioned that I watch a lot of TV in my free time, kind of a sedentary lifestyle. So the fact that my job is employs lifting, pushing, pulling, dragging, and moving, and so it keeps me strong and keeps me fit, I feel like. This is something that goes on here that people make their own slime. Pretty slimy. It's actually, you can see that it's not the worst thing in the world, because once I wipe it off, then you'll see that, I don't know, it's like they mix I don't know what they mix to make it, but I found that in the sinks in the bathroom every now and then.
As I said, he sees meaning in his work, and each of us see meaning in our own lives or not, and it's really a shame for people who don't see meaning in their lives. It's kind of empty to do a job where you don't see meaning in it, and that Ernie isn't like that. He does see, the importance of supporting the teachers, and I think my opinion is that a good public education system is one of the bedrocks of democracy. So I'm very supportive of public schools.
I think that the relationship between teachers and custodians ideally is a good one, that we provide a clean space for them to teach their classes, and other furniture moves or little things that might be important to them.
What motivates you? What I mean by that is, like, when you know that, like, no one is necessarily asking you to do your best work, but we see you all the time giving 110%, and you're energetic and you're motivated. Like, what motivates you in your work?
I think the desire to do a good job.
That's just intrinsic. It's a personal thing. Like, whatever you're doing, it's going to be the best.
Absolutely.
Because I noticed, like, even in my classroom, you'll look out for things that, like, are safety hazards.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems to be like your number one priority. Like, okay, is this going to make the kids safe? And then it's like, okay, is this a clean school for you? And that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we really appreciate it.
Nice. I appreciate the appreciation. I think that that if we work together, that's the ideal situation, because then we're working in different capacities, but we're working towards the same goal, I feel like. So for a clean place to provide education to young people, and that most of the teachers whose rooms that I clean, they appreciate what I do, and they respect the work that I put in and the effort that I put into the job that I do. And of course, this isn't a professional profession. Those are like, it's how I make my living, but some people say, oh, that's not a profession. Profession is like a doctor or a lawyer. Like, to me, a profession is whatever you do professionally to make money and earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a professional custodian, I guess.
There's no shame in it?
There is no shame in that. I think that some people would say, if you asked them, like, oh, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm just a custodian. Well, I don't know why you would want to put the prefix of just, like, because, that's what you do. So, like, you don't necessarily have to be, I'm proud to be a custodian, but, I'm not going to be ashamed of it. It's something that I do. I enjoy it.
One thing about Ernie is, even when he's having a bad day, he still takes the time to check to see how you are doing. He's not. He takes the time to see what's going on outside his little realm. A lot of people just work in their own little box, and they take care of what they need to do, and they don't look to see what other people have to do. But when I work with Ernie, I get the sense that I'm working with a partner. Like, we're all in it together, and it's like we're a community. And he cares about SCPA, and he cares about the kids, and he cares about the community. He takes the time to learn the names of my kids. He takes the time to know what club is in my room at what times. And he doesn't just come in and go, oh, well,
Yeah.
you just have kids after school. He cares about what's going on, and he gets to know everybody, which is something I really appreciate.
Like when he does campus beautification with the kids, he makes a point of talking with them, getting to know them, finding out about them, and so it's actually almost more fun to do campus beautification with him than it is a real punishment.
It's actually fun. It's not that much of a punishment. It's more like fun than it is. It's like somebody to talk to. Like, just pick trash up. That's about it. Like, he talks to you. He's not just like quiet. Just do this, do this. He talks to you. He tries having a conversation with you while you're working. Like, he doesn't want you just to be there just because.
I think that it's a good program. I think that having campus beautification, what it does for students is it allows them to see the custodians as people and to come and work with us for a couple hours or whatever the assignment entails. That to see what we do and how we do it, and to also witness our interactions with teachers, because I've had students say like, oh, that teacher's a jerk or whatever, and I say, well, they've always been really nice to me. I'm cleaning the room like I'm supposed to, so in equivalent, I'm doing my homework. If you don't do your homework, they're probably not going to be super nice to you because you're not doing your job.
And this is my story about him, is that he always sings and whistles and speaks so loudly, you always know where he's around. You can always tell when he's near, because even if he's in a classroom with the door shut, you can hear him.
Or sometimes he does talk to himself. One time I heard him talking. I'm like, who are you talking to? And it's like he was actually having a full-on conversation. And then he goes, oh, nobody. I'm just talking to myself.
Those fingers through my hair, that sly come hither stare, it's witchcraft. On the mic, I've got more attendance I got more presence than attendance in the class of schizophrenics. Here. The easiest part of mimicry is like saying something that a character says a lot. But then it's like, so, hey Bert, have you seen my rubber ducky? Ernie voice?
I told him you could do it.
Hey Bert, have you seen my rubber ducky? But I really enjoy like a lot of types of music. There's a type of music for every occasion, I believe. And I believe that the music that we listen to is the soundtrack to our lives. That as the connection between music and memory, like you might in 20 years you might hear a song that you're hearing right now that you haven't heard since, and it'll flash you right back to where you were when you last heard it, and it's incredible. So music is I believe the soundtrack to our lives. Super rusty. Yeah. My biggest accomplishment, without a doubt, is quitting drugs. I was using methamphetamine, and it really was a bad deal. I don't know if you've known anybody that had any experience with it, but it's really a downward spiral. Like it takes over your life basically, and I believe that at the time I was a slave to it, and it seemed harmless, and I had people tell me like it's okay to take drugs, don't let the drugs take you. And I told myself that I was just taking drugs, but the reality is the drugs were taking me to places that I didn't really need to be, and in contact with people that I didn't really need to be around.
Well, I mean, to be honest, we were in denial a lot. Like, we didn't know that his drug abuse was as serious and was as long-standing as it was. When he made a decision to stop using drugs, and he didn't, he didn't, wasn't a program particularly, it was him making a decision. And that takes a lot of strength. And it was really like a spiritual rebirth. He was reborn to the incredible person he is. And I'm really proud of him. And I'm so grateful that to have him back, because he's just such a great person. And I'm just so glad that he survived it, he got through it, he made the internal decision to, just leave that all behind. So
I had a bad time. It was like a 10 years of nightmare, basically. But that was definitely my biggest accomplishment, that I did it myself. I didn't go to rehab. I decided that I wanted to stop lying to people that cared about me, friends and family. I wanted to stop destroying my health. And so I decided, and I successfully quit doing methamphetamine. Like, you have to be strong. You have to be able to stick with it. And like I deleted all the phone numbers. One of the first things I did was all the phone numbers of the people that I knew that used. I deleted it so that way I wouldn't have access, or it would make it harder to access. And I think that's important. Is make it hard for yourself to continue to do it by like excommunicating with the people that you use with. Don't use drugs and keep a positive attitude. I think that's one of the keys of being happy is being happy with what you have, not necessarily always wanting what other people have. Like there's always something positive that you can hold on to and kind of emphasize, and there of course will always be negativity, just like a battery has the negative and the positive point. So life is negativity and positivity, but I believe what inspires me, I think life is inspiring. I think that the experiences that we get out of it every day can inspire us. I think that success can be measured and defined by the happiness of the individual. Some people would define success as a huge bank account and lots of possessions. It's coming to me. I do have a favorite quote. What was it though? You can tell it's my favorite quote because it's right on the top of my head. Life is a holiday. No, wait. Every day is a holiday, and every meal is a feast. Because that's just a way of looking like, and that appreciating, like, okay, maybe it's raining, but I'm alive and I'm healthy, and I'm eating food, and like that's a lot more than some people can say, because some people are hungry and don't have a place to live, and so I think that a positive saying like that, like life is a holiday and every meal is a feast. Every day is a holiday and every meal is a feast, and it kind of keeps us aware of how lucky we are to have what we have, I think.
Who said that?
I'm not entirely sure. I heard it from a custodian that worked here years and years ago. He got it in the Navy, as far as I know. He was in the Navy, and I'm of the understanding that that's where he got it. So I don't know who we can attribute that quote to, but I really like it.
Do you have like a best friend?
I think if I was a crayon, I might be green because I like green. I don't know, the fields, the meadows are green. The like money, which I don't put a whole lot of importance on. Obviously, it's important to have enough to survive. But I like green. I like green, blues. I like earth tones. So I don't know. Maybe I'd be one of those swirly crayons with like a lot of different colors in it. If they did say make those, I've seen those, haven't I? Yeah. Hi, I'm Ernie.